Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Don John, and welcome back to Much Ado About John, also known as the Don John Pod. Hey guys, welcome back to Much Ado About John, my little venti podcast where I talk about life post jail, and just talk about my feelings and emotions because my court mandated therapist said that I needed to do something, and I'll be darned if I'll journal because I can't write. And you know why I can't write? Because I'm a bastard. I'm a dirty bastard. And you know whose fault that is? Not mine. It's not my fault I'm a bastard. You know whose fault it is? My dad. But does my dad get any flack? No. No. He gets to keep living his life. And you know what? That's unfair. That is awful and unfair. Because, they'll call my dad an adulterer, and then, he goes to the bar and gets a bunch of high fives because he got to, have sex with some beautiful prostitute. But yet, somehow I get kicked and stoned and berated just because I was born. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's fair? You think that's fair? I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair one bit. Not at all. Not a bit. I don't think it's fair. Because I didn't ask to be born. No, God put me into this world through a wedlock and cheating. Do you think that's fair? I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair at all. No. Because you know what? Everyone else gets to be born out of a sanctity of beautiful marriage, and I get born out of cheating, and I just get treated poorly, and I don't think that's fair. Because, hold on. Do you think this is cute? You think this little cat's cute? Huh? You think it's cute? It's little whiskers, little smile, little happy eyes, happy family. No, it's not cute. You know why? It's a bastard, huh? Still think it's cute? Still think it's cute? No, it's a bastard. So it's not cute. It's actually ugly. You're ugly, and you're a bastard. Thought it was cute earlier? Now you know it's bastard. It's not cute, right? Right? Don't even try to say it's still cute. It's a dirty bastard. Everyone hates bastards. And that's not even the worst of my problems. Because you know what? Freaking Claudio. Who does Claudio think he is? Claudio's some stupid chud who's best friends with the prince. I tried to be friends with the prince. You know what happened to me? I was bullied and beat up. All I want to do is be friends with the prince. But no, Claudio gets to be friends. Claudio's an idiot. You know what? I asked Claudio one time, what's up? You know what he said? I don't know. There were two answers. The ceiling or how he was doing, and he didn't have an answer to either. And yet, everyone hates me because I'm a bastard. Do you think that's fair? No, it's not. Claudio's an idiot. And you know what? His freaking wife, absolutely beautiful woman. Woman of my dreams right there. Will she ever love me? No, because I'm a bastard. But listen, absolutely beautiful, beautiful woman. What Claudio treats her horribly. Doesn't even know how to appreciate a woman of that caliber because he's an idiot. But what do I know about appreciating women? Nothing, because I'm a bastard. And no woman would ever want to get with me because I'm a bastard. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's fair? It's not. But you know what? Hero's no prize either. Hero's just as much of an idiot. Compared to Beatrice, just a complete space cadet. I don't even know what that word means. I don't even know what that term means. But she's an idiot. Absolute idiot. But you know what? I'm the bad guy. You want to know why? Because I'm a bastard. Do you think that's fair? It's not. Hero and Claudio are two idiots made for each other, but no, I'm a bad guy because I'm a bastard. I just don't think that's fair. I really don't. Because what have I really done besides be born? You made up a bunch of lies about Hero, and you made a bunch of lies about Hero of Hero cheating on Claudio. You know why? Because people were mean to me and they hurt my feelings. And I didn't want to see Claudio happy because Claudio is a big meanie. Everyone thinks Claudio is this great guy. No, he's a jerk and a bully. You think that's fair? It's not. It's not fair. Claudio gets to marry Hero. Claudio gets to be friends with the freaking prince. Claudio gets to be able to go outside without being shamed. Claudio doesn't have to go to prison. If Claudio had to walk a mile in my shoes, he'd have to get his feet amputated. Because my life sucks. And you know whose fault it is? Not mine. Maybe Don Pedro's. But it's my freaking father's fault because he just couldn't keep it in his pants. Do you think that's fair? It's not. It's not fair. Nothing's ever fair for Don John. Don John can't, get married, go outside, be a person. No, he just has to be a bastard. Don John the bastard. That's what they call me. And you know what? I don't think that's fair. Why can't they call me Don John the well-dressed guy? Because, look, I'm very well-dressed. Whenever Claudio eats, he gets stains all over his shirt. But you know what? He's called silly and whimsical. What am I called if I even do anything remotely wrong? Don John the bastard. Do you think that's fair? I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. It's not fair. Nothing's ever fair for Don John the bastard. Why can't they say Don John the smart guy? Don John the science guy. Don John the thoughtful guy. I have thoughts. I have feelings. No one cares about them, but I have them. You think when people call me Don John, does it hurt my feelings? It does. It does hurt my feelings. Do you know where I live? Stuck with Don Pedro. Don Pedro's awful. He's awful to me. He doesn't say it, but I can read his eyes. His eyes are full of hurt. But I'm actually bilingual. I'm Don John the Bastard's bilingual. Not only do I speak English, but I also speak the language of misery. That language I am fluent in because boy am I miserable. I live with Don John, or not even Don John. I live with freaking. Well, I do live with myself, obviously. Stupid. Oh, I'm so stupid, and I'm a stupid bastard. I'm sorry. But you would lose your cool too if you were a bastard. You would, because everyone's so freaking mean to you. I don't think I've heard a kind word in years. Actually, no, that's not true. Because when I was in jail, my cellmate looked at me, and you know what he said? He said I looked good. But I don't think that came from a positive place. I think it came from a lustful face. Because as soon as he said that, he went like this. Being in jail was the second worst thing that happened to me. What was the first thing? Being born. I'm sorry. That was a really dark place in my life. But every place is a dark place in your life when you're Don John the Bastard. And it's just stupid. Because you know what? What am I known for? I'm known for being a bastard. I'm not known for being a delight socially. I try to be a delight. I try to change my image, and people are just mean to me. And you know what? I just stopped caring. Because what was the point? I tried to be Don John, the pretty, regular, agreeable guy. But no, they just wanted to make me out to be Don John the bastard. Don. Do you think that's fair? It's not. It's not fair. I just want friends. I want a family. I want a family the right way. Not like my father. No, my father. My father decided that he wasn't happy with what he had originally, so he got with some. Who knows who he got with? I don't even know her. I don't even know her. Got with some woman and had me. But you know what? I'm not going to carry that generational curse. If the Lord blesses me with a woman, I'm going to have a kid the right way through the sanctity of marriage, properly properly consumptuating the marriage. I'm not going to have a baby out of wedlock. No, I'm not going to have a bastard because I'm a bastard and I've suffered enough. And I don't want my potential child to suffer. I'm going to do things the right way. But will any woman give me a chance? No, because I'm Don John the bastard. That's what I'm known for. Not Don John the hopeless romantic, not Don John the romantic. Because you know what? When I spend my days festering in hate and anguish because I'm a bastard, I come up with ideas for dates. You know, nice dinner, romantic stroll. Not talking to strange men at my window like Hero did. No, I would never do that. But she did that. She did that. And you know what? Everyone tried to say I lied, but I don't know. I thought that was pretty accurate to what I saw. I yeah, I don't know. But no one wants to believe Don John the Bastard because Don John the Bastard is a dirty lying bastard. How do they know I'm a liar? Because I'm a bastard, they assumed. I don't think that's fair. I would hope you wouldn't think either. But you know what? People think it's fair. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right to, profile people based on one fact about themselves. I don't think that's fair. I'm Don John, a reasonable guy. I'm a pretty reasonable bastard. I I don't judge people based on one fact about themselves. Because if I did that, I would call Claudio the stupid guy. I would call Hero the stupid girl. I would call Don Pedro the insufferable guy because he really is insufferable. He suddenly wanted to be my friend, let me live with him, and blah 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 blah. But you know what? He was so awful to me for many years. Do you think that's fair? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And you know what? All the other people at that wedding, I was not the worst person at that wedding. Beatrice was awful. Beatrice is a little mouthy. I don't often get mouthy. I don't like arguing with people. I try to have respectful dialogue. And you know what? The freaking Benedict's awful. Just as bad as Beatrice. They're practically made for each other. They won't admit it. You know why? Because they're both stubborn and ignorant and mean. Big meanies. But yeah, I'm the bad guy because I'm a bastard. Do you think that's fair? I don't think it is. And you know what? Let's talk about society for a minute. Because you know what? We live in a society. A really awful, awful society. A society that just wants to, objectify women. I don't objectify them. I think they're great. Hold on. Hold on. I'll show you how much I don't objectify women. I think they're quite great. I've read. I read. Yeah, Claudio can't read, but I read. I read a lot of this feminist literature stuff. Why? Because I think it's important. Because I don't objectify women. I listen to them. But you know what? They don't listen to me. You want to know why? Because I'm a bastard. Do you think that's fair? I don't think it is. It's not. But you know what? I don't take it out on them. Because that's not right. It's not. Defensive sweet women, I don't think it's fair to take it out on them because they did nothing wrong. No, it's society. Suddenly society is controlled by a man. How would it be the woman's fault? But I'll tell you what, Leonardo, He was so quick to forsake his own daughter. And you know what? That's just awful. Didn't take 1 second to try to listen to her and was immediately ready to just have her dead. His character really showed. Because you know what? How are you just going to want your own daughter to just be dead? Wow. Personally, if I was Lanata, or whatever her stupid name is, I would have listened to her. I would have heard her out. No, he practically just told her to die. Awful. Just awful. And I don't really think that's the problem. But you know what? They wrote their version of the tale. They wrote their own version of the tale. You know, I don't even have the book. You know why? Because I'm a bastard and I shouldn't have books. Practically had to steal this. I did steal it. You know why? Because bastards aren't allowed to have books. Do you think that's fair? I don't think it is. My life really sucks. And you know what? No one's really tried to make it better. You know, no one's made an effort to try to understand me. And you know what? It's just awful, so awful. There's no one. Yeah. Oh, hold on. 1 minute. Oh yeah. Oh, what's up, Pedro? Listen, I just need you to keep the volume down. Okay, I just need you to keep the volume down. Yeah, I'm totally sorry. I'm just trying to record my podcast. Listen, I don't care. It's just I'm trying to sleep. And it's just I this is the only time I get to do this. This is the only time I get to do this. I just can you that John. I just don't think you're being really considerate right now. Well, I'm trying to be, but I don't think you're being very fair to me, and I'm not even making that much noise. That John. Listen, I was kind enough to let you live with me after your little stint in prison, but I just don't think you're being really grateful right now. Well, I'm trying to be grateful, but I don't think you understand how hard my life is right now. You know what they call me? They call me Don John the Bastard. They call me Don John the Evil Bastard. Well, maybe if you were a little nicer, they'd call you Don John the Nice Bastard. Do you think I chose to be Don John the Bastard? I haven't chosen anything. I've never had a choice in my life, Don Pedro. Oh my gosh. Do you ever stop whining? All you do is whine about how much your life sucks. It does suck. I'm a bastard. Well, maybe your life would suck a little less if you were nicer. Will you listen here, Don Pedro? Me and Don Pedro just got into a little disagreement about the volume, but I think we've come to terms. Why is everyone so mean to me? And I'm just. All I want is the people to be nice to me. Like, everyone just wants to call me and put on top a bastard bunch. Am I a bad guy? Be honest. Am I a bad person? I don't think I am. I think I'm misunderstood. I think I'm misunderstood. But you know what? No one cares. No one cares about John. Much ado about John, much ado about nothing. No one cares about John. I care about myself. I care about myself a ton. God cares about me. No one else does. No one else cares about John but me and God. It would be nice if someone else did. But everyone else is really awful, aren't they? They're so awful. They're so bad. But no, I'm the bad guy. You wanna know why? Because I'm a bastard. I'm a bastard and I'm a bad guy. Do you think that's fair? I don't think it is. I don't. I can barely afford anything. Can't even afford a good drink. Can't even afford books. They don't even let me get books. Can't even go to a library. Can barely afford glasses wipes. I have to walk around with dirty glasses. Why? No one cares about the bastard. You know what? I had to make my own glasses. You want to know how I did it? Broke a cup. Had to break and shave my own glass to make a freaking pair of spectacles. Had to take a glass cup out of garbage, smash it, and make my own glasses out of it. Think that's fair? I don't think it is. It's not. It's not fair. But who cares what I think? Because I'm a stupid bastard. But I hope you care. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode of Much Ado About John, where we're going to go into some pretty dark places. And we're going to talk about why everyone is an idiot. Because they're all idiots. And you know who I hate the most? I hate all of them the most. They're all equally awful. But I'm the bad guy because I'm a bastard. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that I get the short end of the stick all because I'm a bastard.